All right, so we're live. All right, so do y'all have the questions out in front of you?
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
Let me know when you're ready. So we good?
I'm ready.
So number one, assume for Guatemala the domestic price of coffee without international trade is higher than the world price of coffee. This suggests I put D, that other countries have comparative advantage over Guatemala in production of coffee. So I put that they'd import it.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Because anytime you want to, if the other country has a comparative advantage, they're going to do the exporting.
And also there's that thing about price being higher or lower.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Brittany, are you driving? All right. So number two, suppose the nation of Canada forbids international trade. In Canada, you obtain a hockey stick by trading 5 baseball bats. In other countries, you obtain a hockey stick by trading 8. These facts indicate that that Canada, if Canada were allowed to trade, they would export hockey sticks.
We're not hearing you very well, Brittany. At least I'm not.
Here, I can't hear you. I put A because they don't have the absolute. Well, I don't know because they just had 1 and 1, so it makes sense that if they can trade 5 baseball bats for stick, that they would have the absolute in producing hockey sticks, but it wouldn't be all the above because other countries would make baseball bats because the opportunity cost would be 4 baseball bats and then 7 or 8 and 5. So the other countries would have the comparative advantage in baseball bats, so they would import the baseball bats.
Yeah, I was thinking it was D, and then I just read in producing baseball bats, they have the comparative advantage. That's not. If they have the comparative advantage in hockey sticks. Okay, yeah, then I agree. That's A.
So I don't understand why Canada doesn't have an absolute advantage. Or comparative advantage. Because if it can trade 5 baseball bats, isn't that a lower opportunity cost?
Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
Sorry. So, how come Canada doesn't have a comparative advantage if they can trade 5 baseball bats for 1 hockey?
Because the comparative advantage is here, let me look. I think it was on the PowerPoint. It said it pretty easy. A country that has the comparative advantage in a good, if it produces the good at a lower opportunity cost than, you know what? It costs. So I think you're right, actually. It would have the comparative advantage base. Well,
Well, it definitely does have comparative advantage with hockey sticks, but it doesn't have comparative advantage producing
with
baseball
baseball bats.
which is what C is
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, because the other countries would miss out on 8 bats, whereas Canada would miss out on 5 bats. So Canada would produce the hockey sticks, the other countries would produce the baseball bats.
Okay, I understand.
So yeah, so if they were to do it, they'd just export their hockey sticks. So number 3, patterns of trade among nations are primarily determined by comparative advantage, is what I put.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have questions about that. Question 4.
Is everybody good on that?
Yeah.
After country goes from disallowing trade in coffee with other countries to allowing trade in coffee with other countries. I would say domestic price of coffee would be greater, right, initially? Or am I?
Disallowing trade in coffee with others to allowing trade. I think the domestic price goes to this, it would be equal to the world price. Because it would be, because before it would be higher for allowing trade, but then after they started allowing trade, the domestic price would be the same as the world price.
It'll equal out then.
Trade. But,
so that's C then?
yeah.
Real quick.
Sorry, one more time, Brittany.
Someone recording this meeting.
Yeah, it's recording. I did it last week, and he said that it was private. So but I sent him an email with a link to it. He must have looked at the wrong one because it was public.
Sorry,
One more time.
as long as someone posted it. Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you guys. You now good?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I'll post it. So I'll be in it.
Okay, thanks, Alex. And sorry, guys, I don't have my notes to follow along. And thank you for changing the meeting for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's start number 5. Scenario 9.1. If the trade in peaches was allowed, the United States would, I put be the exporter because that they have their price is cheaper than the world price.
What you said?
I'm sorry, one more time, Jake.
You said B, exporting?
Yes, bravo.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Perfect. So number 6, trade enhances the economic well-being of a nation in a sense that I only got to number 5 before the meeting started. So let me read that just real quick. So trade enhances the economic well-being of nation in a sense that both domestic
I know C is true, but I'm not sure if that's the right answer.
Yeah, that's I'm looking because A doesn't sound right because they're not both gonna be better off if if one's imported or exported. But the gains of the domestic producer of goods exceed the losses of the domestic consumer's good, regardless of whether the nation imports. It's either C or D because once you trade, it puts the price to the lower, pushes it down. I mean,
I think that I think it's a C because D, if you have a higher domestic price and then you trade, then, or I'm sorry, you have a lower domestic price and then you trade, then it will it'll make your prices go up, won't it?
well, yeah, I mean, if you have the lower price, then you're going to be the exporter, and your price is going to be the set price, though. So when you trade, it'll put a downward pressure on all of them because if, say, the world prices for peaches was 52, but America was 40, so America would trade at 40, and that would make the world price at $40 because they started to trade.
Okay. You want to go for C then?
I think it's
D? Yeah.
but does that? I mean, does that make sense? Because I don't know. I mean, if they traded, I don't think they would have a huge surplus.
But so in the PowerPoint, it says, but when small economies trade, the world price is the only relevant price. So that's really confusing me.
Yeah, I'm looking at the PowerPoint here. Interesting, because it does say that the total surplus rises no matter if domestic price is higher or lower than the world price.
What slide is it? I'm sorry.
Are you looking on slide 4?
It's slide number 10 in the table is where I'm pulling that from as well.
Keeps cutting.
Slide 10.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
on slide 4 is what I was talking about. So.
okay, that says so. It doesn't matter whether you're importing or exporting, the surplus will always rise. Yeah. Okay. Cool, man.
We'll go with
So C. All right. Number 7. If the country allows free trade in tricycles, if this country allows free trade in tricycles, then consumers will gain, producers will lose. Domestic world price, domestic demand, trade.
Well, consumers are definitely gaining. It's a lot higher.
Because if they go to lower, right?
Yeah. That creates a shortage, though. So would that? I don't think that would benefit the suppliers, would it? The producers. So that's less.
Then they'd have a shortage.
Yeah. So A is the one was on it?
Yeah, I'm thinking A.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Then when a country allows trade and becomes an exporter of a good, which of the following is not a consequence?
What are the options for that one?
The price paid by the domestic consumer of the good increases. The price received by the domestic producer of goods increases. The loss of domestic consumers of the good exceeded the gains of domestic producers of the good. The gains of the domestic producers of the good exceed the losses of the domestic consumer of the good.
Would D work?
I'm thinking it's C. So.
Are you saying D,
Gains,
Jessica?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that makes sense because if they start to produce the amount that's not staying in domestic, they're going to make more money, so it'd be worth it than not. All right, and then number number 9, with trade, a producer surplus is
Let's see.
Hey, Brittany, do you mind? Can you mute your mic? The road noise keeps canceling everything else out. With trade plus is I'm not really sure what this is saying.
We just have to find the producer surplus. That would be. Oh, hold on. So because the world price is lower than the equilibrium, that represents an import. So with trade, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Like a average, right? Because it's underneath the equilibrium.
Yeah, so that would be the little triangle like below the world price and to the left.
Yeah.
So that's 300 times
6, right?
times 6 divided by 2. So 900 is what I got.
That's what I got too.
All right, you guys seeing what I'm, like which part of the graph I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
You did the little triangle on the world side, the world price side?
Yeah, so on the very left between.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the area of that is 900.
Okay, cool.
And then 10, consumer surplus without trade. So that would be from the dotted equilibrium price up to the demand curve.
So the demand curve, so the 15. You said it'd be the equilibrium price?
Yeah.
Yeah, so from that up, everything upward until it hits the demand curve. So that'd be 130 times 13
Yeah.
divided by 2. I got $845.
That's what I got.
Sorry, I'm lost here. Explain that one more. So the equilibrium would be the 15 and like 131. Is that the dotted line we're talking about?
Yeah, so we're looking at that triangle between so it's with, this is the consumer surplus without trade. So we're just totally ignoring the world price. And
Okay.
it's that triangle above the dotted equilibrium line at 15.
20.
No, at 15.
Just at 15. Okay. Oh, and then 15 and then 2 or sorry. So just sorry, I'm
Okay, so
I'm
I'm,
usually a little more prepared. My wife's just had surgery, so I've been like taking care of her all morning.
hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're taking 130 is the quantity times 13, which is 20. 15. And then you find the area from those two lengths. And that,
You get, oh, sorry.
sorry?
You get the 13 because you take the equilibrium price on the side that is 15, and then it goes up to 28. So if you subtract those two, then
I can't hear you.
sorry, hold on. So on the price, you see where the equilibrium price is?
The 15.
Yeah, 15, and then it goes the demand curve. It hits 28. So you're
Okay.
just taking the area of that triangle right there. So you subtract the two, and that equals 13.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're looking at the surplus up from 15 to 28, and then 15, and then divide it by your. Then you divide it by the. And then where do you divide it by? Sorry.
So yeah, so you're just taking the area of the triangle. So then that would be the base, and then the one of the sides is the quantity demanded. So the quantity is 130. So you take 13 times that by 130, and then divide it by 2 for the area of the triangle.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. That was a lot. That was a lot of. That was a lot of not hard question. Hard. I'm sorry. So number 11 is it's the same type deal, right?
Yeah.
Sort of. With trade, total surplus. And total
Go to
surplus
world price.
in this case, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that would be, total surplus is everything.
Yeah.
So that would be A, B, C, D, G, and F,
Okay.
which is,
So then it's like 100, right?
Yeah.
Times by the quantity.
Yeah.
So are we saying that quantity is 30?
Yeah. And so then, so it's also G though, but you can't fit G into a triangle. So I took the area of A, B, C, D, F, and then added it to the area of G.
Okay. So 110 times 30 divided by 2. So, and then you add, and then you did G. So you took the, yeah. And then G's. Did you guys get 1870?
That's what I got.
Yep.
All right, too easy. I made that last one way harder than it needed to be. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
No problem.
When the country moves from the free trade to trade and a tariff, surplus decreases by. Oh gosh. Okay, so
So are we just basically we're going with the surplus of the world price and then minus it by what it would be with the tariff?
yeah.
Okay.
So I got consumer surplus without the tariff is 1,600, and then
1600.
with the tariff,
So so the surplus without a tariff, that's like 40 to 60, right? That triangle.
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Well, oh no, that'd be 20 to 60.
20 to 60. Oh, okay, because the world price is down there. I'm sorry. I was looking at the equilibrium. My bad. And you do 40, so it's that whole section. And then, so 40 times 40, right? Is that what you did?
So I did 80 is the quantity. 80 times 40.
80 times 40.
And that's divided by
then-
2.
So 1600.
Yeah. And then you take
Okay.
the area of the world price plus the tariff. And that would be like 64 times 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, 32.
And then the area for that would be 1,024. So then,
So it decreases by 576.
yeah. So decreases by 576, and does this producer surplus go? Does it not change at all, or does it go up by 192?
It goes up to this. It's like that left triangle right there. The 20 to 20. Or, yeah, 20 to 20. And then when it goes up to the world price, it goes up to 28.
Okay,
You see that?
that makes sense. Yeah.
Sorry, I can't. I'm really deaf. My computer's as loud as it can go. I can't hear you when you talk, Jessica.
I'm sorry. I'll put the microphone up closer to me. So it's the producer surplus is the little triangle that goes from 20 of the price to 20 of the quantity for the world price. And then when you do world price and tariff, it goes to the 28 to 28. Do you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I put B.
So this was the world price surplus, and this is the tariff surplus. Okay. A grenade blow up near me, so I can't hear a thing anymore.
Oh, dang.
So,
Wow.
yeah. All right. So the nation of Aquiliona has decided to end its policy of not trading with the rest of the world. When it ends its trade restrictions, it discovers that importing rice, exporting steel, and neither importing nor exporting TVs, we can conclude that the producer's surplus of Aquilina is now plus.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Would be, since they're importing rice, the surplus would be higher, right? in rice.
Um,
So when you import, consumer surplus rises and producer surplus falls.
Yeah.
So that would be, yeah.
producer surplus. So it actually falls.
And then it'd be
right?
Sorry, what?
we're just looking at
So
producer surplus.
Yeah.
So it would actually fall if you were importing something. Is that right?
Yeah, so it would fall if you're importing rice. It would rise if you're exporting.
And then unchanged in TVs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's A. Right? You said
Yeah.
if you export, it goes higher. If you import, it goes lower.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that would be A then.
Okay.
Just a heads up, I have to go in a little less than 10 minutes.
That's fine.
So
If you want, we can just run through them real quick. That sound good?
yeah, that's fine. I was going to ask, like, did we have to run through all of these questions?
No, I think he just kind of spot checks. So even if we don't go through all of them, I don't think it just shows that we got together, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
So,
cool.
but it's whatever, so.
Yeah, I could always finish these later, but
Okay.
yeah, let's just try to get through as many as we can. Figure below
Okay,
illustrates the tariff. On the graph, Q represents quantity and P represents price. The dead weight loss created by the tariff is presented by the area.
Dead weight.
I put D and F.
D and F. Yep, you're right. That's what it says in the PowerPoint on slide 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Number 15. The following diagram shows the domestic demand and domestic supply. In addition, assume the world price of this market is $40 per unit. Okay. Suppose the government imposes a tariff. So they'd be importing them.
Yeah.
It's a tariff of $20 per unit. So then that'd go up to 60. Relative to the free trade outcome, the imposition of the tariff, it would decrease imports by how many? Okay, wait, so
Sorry, yeah, these ones are. I hate when they give you the little reference and then ask you to change it completely.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I'm kind of at a loss right here.
I don't know. Suppose that the government. So assume that the world price market is 40 per unit. And then with the tariff, it'd be $60 per unit. And so if they were importing,
Yeah. So at 40, right, the supply would be 600.
would be 600. And then at 60,
It'd be 900.
it would be 900. So it'd be, so your domestic production would increase, right, by 300.
Yeah.
But then your imports would be 40, and then 60 would be, yeah. So it'd be decrease of imported goods by 300 and then increase by 300.
That'd be A then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So at 40, it hits your domestic supply at 600, and then at 60, it hits it at 900. So that'd be your increase in domestic production. And then your demand at 40 it hits 1800, and then at 60 it hits 1500. So then it would decrease. It would so your imports would decrease by 300.
Okay. Number 16, the amount of revenue collected by the government from the tariff. So I'm pretty sure the revenue is that little box between the two deadweight triangles, right?
Yeah, that's what I think.
So from 200 to 400, 2
Yeah,
to 3.
yeah,
That's 200, yeah.
200. Okay, you actually get an extra $1 per item.
Cool.
200 items. Okay, the general tax. Sorry.
Okay.
Screen's like not crazy. Okay, so the General Agreement of Tariffs and Trade, GATT, was initiated in response to increase in exports of lower price goods from developing countries to developed countries. Let me look at the slide or PowerPoint. What it says about the GATT. Sorry, I'm Googling what the GATT is real quick. So it was imposed during the Great Depression, during the 30s. So D. Okay.
Yeah, that's infant industry argument. Pretty sure that's A.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry. Is the A based on the protecting industries when they're younger, they later?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
19, I think just from glancing at the PowerPoint, I think it would be D. They're sometimes necessary for national security.
Yeah.
D. And then an economist view the facts that Florida grows oranges, Texas pumps oil, and California makes wine as free. I think like specialized. Sounds like specialization to me, but let me see.
You guys are on 20, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confirmation of the virtues of free trade.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's either that or C.
Put C.
I think I put A.
I put A too.
Okay.
I think. Let me grab my book.
Do you find anything about it in the slideshow? Is that where you're looking right now, Alex?
I'm looking in the book. But started trade unfair. So what are we looking at? Florida. Oh, free trade agreements. Virtues of free trade. Yeah, I think. Yeah, patient sounded good, but seems like, but confirms that absolute advantage works. But they're kind of everything else says that you kind of want to go for the comparative advantage, not the absolute.
Okay, so I'll just go out on a limb and say A. I guess I'm not finding anything else.
But I think I don't know. I just think it's A. Got one of those feelings, you know.
Well, I gotta get going. Is there anything else we need to do?
No, you're good. I'll just post this in the what's it called,
Discussion board.
discussion board, and then we'll be good.
Thanks again, guys, for meeting later, even though I was not very.
You want to go over these real quick? The ones that you missed.
No, I went over. I got all the questions last night. I went through all of the questions, and I'll just go ahead and watch the recording later to compare what I got to
Okay.
what you guys got.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
All right, see you later.
Uh,
Okay.